Oh, hello to my Zulu people first, especially all our leadership, our Zulu kings, the controversial monarch, our monarch, and all our leadership per se. This is not directed at you. I'm just basically sending this opinion to the DA. You know what irritates me as I'm sitting here in Durban is you're reading Durban marketing themselves and posting positive videos of things which are happening in Durban, wonderful crowds, a happy mood, South Africans enjoying our Durban. Durban is our South African culture. We always look forward to being in Durban, enjoying Durban, which is the friendliest city in South Africa by far, with very, very down-to-earth and humane black South Africans. Zulus of the coastal areas are the friendliest people I've ever met. And when they make friends with you, Zulus are naturally cautious, but when they make friends with you, they become genuine friends. Unlike in Soweto, where I grew up, okay, I grew up in different places. Soweto, they make friends for certain benefits. They're very friendly. They easily make friends with you in Soweto, but it is not true friendship. It's usually a friendship of whatever benefits they can derive out of you. All right. Whereas KZN, or especially coastal KZN, is very friendly. All right, depending, and then but actually they tend to be initially quite cautious, and then but when they become friends with you, they're truly friendly. But in every crowd that I've been, beach, church, at the beach, in picnics and parks, in shops where you buy, Durban people are very, very down to earth and very friendly and very beautiful. It's always wonderful to meet beautiful ladies. They are usually down to earth compared to artificial beauty ladies who have added all those stuff which have beautified them. Now that they have money, those ones become arrogant. I don't know why. The issue I'm making is that, Durban people are very friendly and down to earth. Zulus are actually very welcoming and warm people who have gotten taken advantage of many, many times since Shaga's hospitality of just giving a land to white people to sojourn here close to where I'm sitting right now, by the harbor. He didn't say it's that, and he was just basically being the usual Ubuntu hospitality, hospitable, hospitable, yeah, whatever. English is not my mother. All right, so now that's what he did, and then he's cutting a little space for them, brought them in floods to take the whole SADC and the whole sub-Saharan Africa, actually. See? So at most, the Zulu people have been brought down by our Ubuntu. Every transaction of love and Ubuntu that we've made over the ages has made us to go down. Now, I've got a problem with the DA always meddling on KwaZulu-Natal affairs, those whites, including they are partnering with the IFP in order to meddle on KZN and Zulu affairs. All right, the DA has never ever loved Zulus. The IFP is absolutely wicked to join hands with an organization that has always been determined in attacking and bringing down Zulus, our culture, and the likes. I guess it's desperation for power at whatever cost. So I'm reading all these comments. Durban is trying to promote themselves, market themselves, and of course they are the friendliest. They are the friendliest South Africans, Durbanites. Even their whites are far friendlier. than those punks of Johannesburg and Cape Town who are holy saints, always posting negatives about black South Africans and about Zulus. And sadly, Durban whites and KZN whites have joined those wicked, evil whites who never even liked them as KZN whites originally. We can refer to Felicia Mabuza Sattle's show and historical facts of the hatred of Cape Town and Pretoria whites against KZN whites. So, but unfortunately today they are friends and they are ganged up against the Zulus. Right. Now, you're reading positive stuff about Durban, and there's always a white nose meddling, and usually they are from the Western Cape. Haibo, you guys locked yourselves in your homes, isn't it? Swart Khafar, you send each other those Swart Khafar messages against friendly blacks like us. Alright? You make all blacks to be a race of criminals, and you found us here signing contracts verbally. It is you who brought the contracts which get recorded in paper because you come from cultures of unfaithfulness, thievery, looting, and all, which required you to sign down so that you can prove contractual agreements in Africa or in this South Africa, in our Ubuntu culture. The word, the spoken word, was the contract. You came with your cultures, made Zulu people to actually copy that culture of thieves, and today you promote us and propagate us all over the world as thieves and whites as saints. Really. Secondly, why are you concerned about the littering and whatever in Durban? Shouldn't you be focusing on your Western Cape? How many years has it been told what your white media never shouts loud about, like they do against Durban, about the sewage there at Camps Bay? How many times have you been swimming in white excrement? I guess it is neat because it is white, eh? Let me not go deep. Anyway, so I'm always finding white people to be negative about Durban, whatever we do. Alright. I stay in Johannesburg. My home is in Johannesburg. I've got property in Durban. And then most of these apartments here are owned by whites and Indians, and they are usually renting out to foreigners intentionally to basically replace, as part of the white capital agenda, to replace black South Africans, because apparently South Africa is your company, so you just decide which blacks you want and which ones you want to remove. Alright? So now, as given by powers by the ANC of Ramaphosa, an organization of black foreigners, actually from the onset, since they changed names from our SANC to their ANC, as influenced by white socialists back then, right, from England. So now you're always meddling on our affairs as KZN, all right, and then you blame us for lacking accountability. But the whole Africa, he has white people meddling. Other good governments, especially from the conservative side, the conservative whites are not bad, depending, as long as they are not far right. If they are conservative, they speak the truths. So is it Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy? She speaks the truth, then we all know. And she tells it like it is, what white people, white governments like France are doing to Africa. Now, how do you demand that we account when you have always meddled in black African affairs, be it government taking out people you refer to as communists and despots and the likes, but you don't take out the white ones usually, and then when it comes. Where did you take out? I love Jewish people and I've stood with them. I've got to say that because you guys have got this thing of when you get blamed, you call it anti-Semitism. No, we can blame Jews for evil things that Jewish people are doing. All right, so Jews introduced communism to this world. Jews are the DA here in South Africa. So when are Jewish people assassinated for communism and all the stuff? I'm seeing lately Majuro has been caught, this and that. So when George Soros is being caught and bombed by Trumps and them, I used to love Trump. I supported him first time. I was a Trump fan. I don't like Trump in the second term. I don't know what has gone wrong. And then he's got all these funny, crazy white Bure who are saying they are being genocided, whilst black South Africans are the ones who are dying horribly in large numbers, you know. So, and it's being starved as engineered by white capital for us to starve, which was introduced in 1996 in the disguise of fighting against BEE, which, and actually who in their sober mind was supposed to be fighting against the BEE, which was meant to do redress. So right there it showed how wicked white South Africans were not to acknowledge evils done by their fathers and themselves. The sins of the fathers will be visited to the sons. It is the duty of the current white people to pay or make redress sacrifices to atone for the evils that their forefathers and fathers did. It is the norm on earth. Just as much as Jewish people, nobody shouts and screams when they're speaking about Jewish reparations for the Holocaust. So what is wrong about black reparations for all the evil colonialism that happened, which is worse than the blame that is scapegoated on Bure in terms of their apartheid. Colonialism was worse. Now, why are you whites always meddling on black people affairs? Okay, we don't like you here in KZN, and you impose yourself via the IFP and the failed ANC in order to come and control KZN. Okay, why didn't you let us be and fail for ourselves without your meddling so that you can celebrate? Look at them, they're failing. No, because you know, which we are well capable of running government, but you want to propagate the image that black people cannot govern. They always need the rescue of white people, which is an international white Western agenda to always propagate the image so that you continue looting Africa and keep it. Look, you've been trying to save Africa from the 1950s, and Africa is poor, and Europe and American whites are always rich. Which Africa have you even tried to save? You have never been trying to save Africa. You've been creating wars and animosities amongst blacks so that you continue looting and looting and looting. Now going back to those Cape Town annoying whites. Why did you have larger slums in Africa, in the richest South Africa of apartheid in 1985? You had slums which shocked all of us when we saw them on TV. We never thought, we never imagined that those slums would spread to all cities of South Africa and towns, small towns, even villages. We were shocked to see on TV when we started having TVs as blacks in 1985 to see people who stayed in slums. We asked ourselves, so many people, how are they living there? Cape Town was a tiny slum, not as big as it has become for white NGO purposes of lying about apartheid. So there's a lot of money which is being made by keeping those slums of Cape Town next to my home in Soweto going. They're not supposed to be there by now. Anyway, so now you had slums of 250,000 blacks in 1985 in the prosperous, successful apartheid South Africa. Can you explain that as the DA? Because the DA of today are the whites of yesterday who were responsible for those slums. All right, you're telling us about failed black governments. How were you having slums of 250,000 black people in Cape Town in 1985, which had nothing to do with the ANC, but everything to do with whites in government? Can you explain? Thank you.